Hi, grade 12. So I thought I'd come online and have a little chat with you about your exam that you're writing on Monday, because it's your paper 2, it's on evolution, and it's like, okay. So I just want to discuss firstly the essay a little bit with you, because I think that there are a lot of misconceptions around essay writing and a lot of anxiety around essay writing. So I thought probably the best thing to do is just give you a few tips and hints on how to do it. So firstly, it is a biological essay. It's an essay that you have to have an opinion, and you've got to use all the facts in the source, and you've got to use your own knowledge to create an argument around your opinion. So what does it mean? It means that you've got to look at the topic. You've got to think to yourself, okay, which stance do I know more about? Which one should I take? Because at the end of the day, the sources that you're going to get are going to be equal on both sides. So you don't have to think about, oh my goodness, if I take this stance, there's so many facts on the other side. It will never be like that. So I suggest you take an essay, a stance that is that you've got information and you've got knowledge about. So that's the first thing. Then obviously you have to read your sources. If you have a source that you're not getting, that doesn't ring with you, or you don't understand it, just leave it. It says use most of your sources, not all of your sources. So that's another really good trick or tip, I suppose. And then you've got your stance, you've got a plan. Now, planning is important. Planning is important because you get 6 marks for it. Planning is important because you also then have an idea of what you're going to write. So, of course, your planning needs to be clear. My suggestion to you is that you do 3 own knowledge, 4 or 5 counters, and, of course, as many facts as you can. Remember to put your sources next to your facts. Now, this is the one big misconception that we need to discuss. Okay. In your essay, you have to talk about reliability of your source. And it's really important. You can do it once or twice, and you've got to do it nicely and we'll get to that in a second. I know some teachers or some people, I don't want to blame anyone, but basically say that you just need to write reliability in the planning. Now, what I think, okay, firstly, it's not true. You have to put reliability in the essay. But my feeling is that you write it in the plan to remind yourself to do it in the essay. So you find a fact that you say, oh, this fact is particularly reliable, and that fact, then you're going to, you'll put it into when you get to the essay, you'll actually put it in the essay. So that's my feeling, is that you put the reliable source, not because you're going to get marks for it in the plan, you don't, but that you will be able to get, you'll be able to remind yourself when you write the essay. Okay, so yeah, 10 minutes for planning, 10 minutes for reading time, and then you get to an actual essay. Please, when you do your introduction, is really about creating context, saying your stance. I know other subjects, you'll only write your stance right at the end. Please write your stance in the introduction. It's so much easier if I know what your stance is. Let's say I was marking your essay, I would then say, oh, this person says, let's just do a hypothetical. Let's say the essay topic is something about Darwin's theory of evolution is more accepted than Lamarck's theory of evolution. And then you've got to obviously choose a side. So let's stick with that. So you've got to make sure, if you decide that Darwin is more correct, then you've got to be able to say that in your introduction. Okay. When you're writing the essay, each paragraph needs to be a little parcel, a little present in its entirety. So how do you do that? So you want to put all the ingredients into like what you want, and what you want to put into the paragraph, and then you want to tie it up with a nice little bow at the end to give it to the person who's marking your essay. So how do you do that? So you start off creating, again, context. What is your theme? Okay, Charles Darwin there are lots of examples that show that Charles Darwin's theory of evolution through natural selection is the most accurate. Okay, that is, you've got the box. Now you've created the box. Now what you're going to put in. So you want to put examples in: the peppered moth. You want to put the leopard's got its spots. Maybe obviously you've got examples from the text, which you need as many facts as you can put in. Okay, then you'll put your own knowledge. So let's say the peppered moth is not in the text. Then you'll put your own context in. So you'll say, oh, also the peppered moth is a great example, and you'll explain it, and that will help to build your argument. But remember, you have got to have a counter argument. It's lovely. It's better to have it in each paragraph. It makes the present, more beautiful, more complete. Okay. And how would you do that? So you would say, however, there are examples where Charles Darwin can't explain. For example, it's a vestigial structures. That's a great example of the law of use and disuse, which is Lamarck. So you could say something along the lines of the pelvis of the whale has no use because they swim, and therefore you can now see that has become a vestigial structure. So the fact that there is no use for it means it's gotten smaller, and that is very much Lamarck. Okay, and then you could say, so now you're present, all the things are inside, you've given your facts, you've given your own knowledge, you've given a bit of a counter. Now you want to wrap it up. Say, although there are examples where Lamarck does ring true, okay, where Lamarckism is a possibility, the overwhelming evidence shows that Darwin's theory of evolution through natural selection is the most probable explanation, or the best explanation for evolution. And that is why you've gone with your stance. And that is why Charles Darwin is the most accepted. So you want to wrap it up with go back to your stance. Okay, remind yourself all the time, what are you choosing? Okay, what is your stance? And that is really how each paragraph should be. So that's a little present. I just want to go into two more things. Number one, that counter argument. It has to be a counter fact. Don't be shy of giving a counter argument. In science, we have to acknowledge that there is another side. We have to acknowledge that. And you must be able to do that. Okay, sorry, clearly in a parking lot. Okay, so that's really important, that you are able to acknowledge the other side. And then what would you do for your reliability? Let's say the example that they gave you, the Charles Darwin example they gave you about, I don't know, whatever it was, something about lizards getting shorter legs so they could, or change leg size, so they could climb away from predators. And that fact came from a journal article or came from a scientific journal. You would then say, this information, don't say the source, that information, you want to link your reliability to a fact. So you would say, this fact is reliable because it came from a journal article. And why is that so reliable? Because in order for a journal article to be published, it needs to have peer review, it needs to be researched, and for all those reasons, this fact is reliable. Okay, so those are the two other things. Of course, you want to conclude. It doesn't need to be particularly long, as long as you do some kind of conclusion. And that is pretty much it, I think. Okay, so go in there, give yourself an hour to write the essay. It's going to be a great essay. It's going to be fun. Just enjoy it. Actually enjoy it. And just also remember, just for the whole paper too, just something to remember is that it is a source-based paper. Your case studies are source-based, but you have to know your work. So what does that mean? My suggestion to you, if you have not started learning or you don't plan on spending a lot of time learning this, my suggestion to you is, number one, learn definitions. Every single definition that you've got, and it's a lot of definitions, but not just learn the definitions. Link an example to every single definition, because that's where it's going to help you. It's going to help you to conceptualize the section, and it's going to allow you to do very well in this paper. So I need to get out of my car and go and spend the rest of my day looking after my own students and teaching them stuff, because they are also writing tomorrow, but I get to teach them and go through some important concepts with them. But you have a good day. Mwah. Good luck. And I will, looking forward to hearing from you how the exam went. Cheers.